Lecrae has released CC4.
CC4.
Y'all excited?
Man, yeah. I was super excited for it. I spent the whole week pretty much going through 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, yeah. So we are going to dissect it.
Good.
Yeah.
We are going to dissect it today. All right. So, man, obviously hopefully you guys saw, we were part of the rollout. We were track number 8, Take Me Up.
Take me up.
And we were able to kind of hear it before everybody else did. It was awesome to be a part of that, because I posted it, it was a full circle moment for us. We started our show playing Lecrae and Canton Jones, and we just had Canton Jones in the studio, and the same week we got to shoot a promo for Lecrae. So it was an awesome moment for us. But talk about a little bit about how that was for you.
I think it was dope, man. I feel like that was one of those things where I'm like, man, we here. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know what's so funny? We've interviewed Lecrae. Like, I think the first person from our team to interview Lecrae was you.
Yeah.
Like, it was at
2009
at what's the name conference, Impact Conference, and then we came back around for one of the tours, and I remember I interviewed him one-on-one with us.
We did Don't Waste Your Life and Unashamed, the early ones.
And then we did some other interviews with him. We interviewed them all 3 together with those velour jumpsuits that Ryan bought.
The retro Hawks jackets.
Yeah,
I still got that, by the way. I'm gonna bring. Let's bring him back next week.
The one he said that he's been waiting on.
Yo, we should, when we interview him again, we should wear those just to see if we refresh our memory.
I can't find mine.
Oh, you suck.
Yeah, I think it's at my mom's house. It might be in like the deep part of her closet.
But I'm just saying, we've had track records with him, and then I think you guys went to the studio and interviewed him, Andy, and I think some other people.
Yeah.
But I think that was something where I'm like, wow, that's a blessing for him reaching out, because he didn't really have to reach out to us.
Yeah.
But that was something like, and we were like the only. He had different people from, like, of course, the artists and people who do music for him and stuff. But overall, and people behind the scenes, but overall, we were like the only one kind of media, quote unquote.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to Flex and Ace. I mean, we got family in reach. Shout out to Marcus as well. Yeah. Good friends with us, man. So, I mean, their team is family to us. And a lot of their artists have been in here. Yeah. So that it was just an honor to be a part of that. But I knew at least one song that was going to be on CC4, and of course the 2 singles. What did you think when you actually heard the project, though?
Oh man, I was impressed. I mean, it's hard to disappoint when you're expecting this to be. I mean, the hard part about I think the thing for me is, Lecrae just gives so much truth, and you kind of get sucked into like just observing that truth, like absorbing that truth. Like, wow, this is his life story. So we get to really kind of like peer into his mind about what's going on in his life, what he dealt with, what he overcame. His books do the same thing, but you don't really get that when you're listening to mainstream artists. You hear what they want you to hear, right? You don't get to hear like what they really struggled with. And so, there's a couple of tracks on there where I was just like, well, I like the vibey stuff, but I really like the deconstruction song. Just the ones that just seem to be telling the truth. And is it No Fear?
Yeah.
Fear not. Yeah. So there's a lot on that project that I felt just really hit home with me.
Yeah. What do you think, Jeremiah?
I liked it. I felt like every song reminded me of a Lecrae in the past. I felt like this was vintage Lecrae.
It's like a best of.
Yeah. Like certain songs reminded me of, like he said one line when he said that y'all can keep the crystals because prayer works. I was like, that's Rebel Lecrae. Yeah. Like Lecrae, like I don't think Lecrae back in it, like anomaly Lecrae would have said something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then also just looking at this online, like he's in the Christian category. Like I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So it seemed like that was the release that was the same category that What Up RG and 1K Few. Yeah.
I was like, wow. And he's on the top 10 of all albums on iTunes too. So
that makes sense.
You know what I mean? But I would say overall, I like the project. Misconception 4 was very good. Shout out to AI The Anomaly. she held it down. No big deal. John Keith, they did their thing on that joint. But I would say this: if this the final Church Clothes series, like he said it is, he did great.
Yeah. Great. It's a good finish.
Yeah, he finished to it. So I very much enjoyed it. I did like I said, I like Still in America, Dirt. Of course, Take Me Up. You know what I mean? I'm glad we could talk about that now because that sample is amazing. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, that got to be a single for him.
They cut out a lot of what we said because we gave it away.
Yeah.
I was like, yo. Crossroads? That's going to hit, man.
Yeah. Like, I remember I was like, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. I knew all that was going to get cut out.
Yeah. But, I mean, they did a good job, too, man. Shout out to, what's my man's name? God, you added him.
His last name is Ashawn. I'm trying to make sure I can say his first name right.
He's a great artist too, man. He does some great music. Jalen Ashawn. Shout out to him and my man with the his assistant with him.
Oh yeah, you keep talking. I want to make sure they get credit, man. They were awesome.
They were awesome too.
Awesome.
And then also my man that worked for marketing for them too, who was Joe. He did great too as well, man. So shout out to them. Journey was a good one too.
Yeah.
Artemio Black.
Shout out to you, bro. You killed. Good Lord was good. Good Lord remind me of like throwback hip hop, like old school hip hop with the kind of like a boom bap feel. With him and Andy,
was like the Anderson .Paak sound.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it, man. I very much enjoyed it, and I'm glad that this is something that he was like his last offering in this series. You know what I mean? So. But yeah, man, and I saw an interview with him and he was talking about the Church Clothes series and he was talking about how on his albums he doesn't have free range on his albums. He feel like he's like Church Clothes is his free range to do whatever he really wants to do hip hop wise on there. So, but yeah, I felt like it's vintage Lecrae. I feel like majority of these songs, it felt like you can get it. Like it felt like it was a little bit of Sold Out. I mean, Real Talk. It was a little bit of After the Music, a Rebel. You know, Rehab, like just different things that led up to everything that he's been doing, you know what I mean, hip hop wise when he had his albums. And I'm like, yo, this is dope, man. And I like what I like the honestly direction what Reach is doing right now. You know what I mean? Really coming back home. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not coming back home like they wasn't here, but just the fact of them saying like, we're believers and this is what we do. And we do this for a group of community. And
I thought it was great. It's probably my favorite album top to bottom from him. I enjoyed all of it, man. I thought it sounded really good. It sounds professional. This is the one that didn't sound like a mixtape. Sounds like an album.
It didn't sound like a mixtape.
Straight up like an album. Because going from the first one, it sounded straight up like mixtape. You know,
get a DJ talking.
You know, when Wayne was going crazy on mixtapes. That one sounded like that. And by 3, it started sounding like album. This is a real project. This one was just like perfect to me. It sounded great. Everything sounded great. He did great on it. The features were great. Like the mixing, the mastering. Ace does not miss, bro. He does not miss, man.
Great, man. We met him in that parking lot. Changed our lives in his life.
No, seriously, if you don't know what he's talking about, Ace, Motown, Ace, and Brian Taylor. They were a group called Hypnotic. And then they became PK One Day. And you know,
Preacher's Kids before PK One Day, right?
Yeah, they were Preacher's Kids, and then they changed it to PK One Day.
And they met with us, and they were asking us, you know, like, because they were coming from the mainstream side, and they wanted to do more stuff for God. And we just showed them like how everything works, and they got into Reach back in the in
Rehab era, because we heard Walk on Water before.
We heard that.
Before.
Some of the songs you heard on Lecrae's albums back then were their songs that they repurposed for him. And we just knew they were special, man. They were. Every time we heard, me and Jeremiah would be in the back of the room like, what? Just unbelievable production. And you could tell they had a sense for what a hit was.
Yeah, they did.
They always knew how to make a hit no matter what.
They did.
So when they linked with Lecrae, it was just like, oh, okay. That's a win. You know? So just watching, and what was awesome about them is, you know, if you ever heard FMG, that's because of Ace, Motown, and Brian.
Yeah, that's true.
When after we met with them, they gifted us a whole disc of beats for us to use. Like stuff that, if that same CD would have cost at least $250,000.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
$250 minimum.
Yeah.
Because these are some of the beats that T.I. ended up getting, Nicki ended up getting. Yeah. Like, these are unbelievable stuff they gave us. It was the best gift we could have gotten.
You remember your verse from Amazing? We feast on these throwaway beats from PK one day.
And the whole point of me saying that was like, this is not even the stuff they focus on. That was stuff they gave us as a gift. Imagine what they do if they working with you and go back and forth. I went over to their house 3 a.m. They had 3 laptops out, beat machines going, 3 a.m. constantly working. So to me, this is as much a victory for Ace as Lecrae, as Marcus, as Flex, as Wande, Joe, all the people who work in that building, man. Like they're phenomenal. So for me, Take Me Up, I wasn't lying. Like, I literally loved when I heard that song. I was like, sample's perfect. It was amazing. I like Dirt. Fear Not is great. Misconceptions 4 is a home run. That whole Misconceptions series, home run. Every single one of them's amazing.
Misconception 3 still has a place in my heart.
It does.
3 just because I love John and I love Jay Gibbons.
I went back and
Jackie. Like that's.
It was like that. Jink was like home. Everybody came to the plate. Home run. Home run. It was just so good.
And they just kept flowing. Like, I was watching the video yesterday, and I was like, they don't ever stop. They just keep going. It's crazy.
This one ain't far though, man.
Yeah,
no, it's
not.
This one was.
I forgot. I-45 Freestyle was another one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spread the Ops is great. I love the transition into Spread the Ops, where you kind of get a hint of it before it goes into it. It's and then Deconstruction. Just knowing that the stuff he's been tweeting for the last couple months was him previewing what was on his album. And that song, to me he killed that. You could tell everything he was going through at the time, but him articulating like how he felt being knee deep in the evangelical movement, and then being them basically casting them out and how that felt.
Feels like it's hard to get in the studio and say that kind of stuff.
But I want him to do that more.
Yeah, I mean, but when I was listening to it, like that was that I remember exactly what I was doing, but it just threw me back, and I was like, "Whoa!"
It just
let me pause for a second and take this in, because this was crazy.
It reminded me of I tweeted this. I said, "Take me as I am, crawl so Deconstruction can walk." But I also thought about Pray For You, if you remember that song.
Yeah, that's what Ace told us.
Yeah, like, so those type of, he does very good with like internal songs.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I was like, wow, he's spreading his art.
Cry For You was like that too.
Yeah.
But to me, Good Lord is, I remember telling him back, what was it?
That last interview?
No. This was back in the concert when my wife was filming us.
Oh, yeah.
That long strip of a back room they had. I remember I was like, dude, your songs about your wife are your best songs.
Train Depot.
Every single time he does a For My Wife song, he kills it. And to me, this is the same thing. Good Lord, whenever he talks about his wife, he puts maximum effort. The song always comes out top notch. And this continued that, man. So it was phenomenal. I loved it. I thought this is my favorite top to bottom effort from him.
Yeah, I mean, and you can't say much, bro. I mean, he delivered. He delivered again. So, shout out to you, bro.
So that's our breakdown. I mean, anything specific is stuff we always talk about with him. He's talking about, the journey. I think one thing on Misconceptions that I loved, I can't remember exact wording, but he essentially said, I'm friends with Kendrick. Yeah, I'm not lame. Like that whole the desire to do that. Yeah. But then he shot it out, Indie Tribe, and basically it's like, nobody needs to know you to you don't need to be famous to know you're dope. Yeah. And to keep doing, like, basically he shot out Holy Smoke concert to show like, look how well they're doing without all the stuff that I had to get to. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like that's good enough. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So just to hear that from Lecrae, who's been to that mountaintop of being in mainstream or whatever, and saying this is just as good as what I did. Yeah. To me, that's good for him to say, because people chase what he chased after. For him to say no, what Indie Tribe is doing is just as good. Yeah, and they'll get to that without everything I had to go through.
Yeah.
That to me was powerful.
And then also actually claiming Christian hip hop. Because it was a part, and I was telling Ryan that I was like, there's a part where he told me my kids are watching, like my kids are listening to CHH.
They grew up on CHH, yeah.
And I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a shift. I think he's realized, I've done everything I can do for mainstream people.
Yeah.
He got burned on both sides. He got burned from Christians that didn't want him to talk about race, and he got burned by left-wing people who didn't like how he responded to that thing on stage. So it's like, well, I can't make none of y'all happen. I'm gonna just do what I originally set out to do. Then. And I think he's back to being good with that. Yeah, and that's awesome.
And I think that's one of those things where you got to look at it from a perspective of you can't please people.
Yeah.
Regardless, and even being a top dog of what you were.
Yeah.
You still can't.
And I think the project goes to show too that no matter how big we see him as, or how big fans see him, he still gets cut by these social media posts and these things that are being said, and like the things that come out, and it's crazy. And it's like, man, I remember just kind of thinking about when I was listening to the Deconstruction song, I was just like, wow, God, like that's a lot of weight on you. That's a lot of weight to push you to the point where you go in your closet and you like really having a hard time like just stabilizing everything. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
So, but speaking of misconceptions, we're going to start doing more definitives. And one I thought of, I sent the team, is the Misconception series is a classic. Like having a song series amongst a bunch of different albums. I want to do a definitive song series. Like Kendrick has the Heart Part 1, 2, 3, 4. Drake has the AM PM, 3 AM in Calabasas and 4 PM and such and such. What's the definitive song series? I can't think of much past that, but I know there's more. I know Meek Mill does one, and other people have some. What's the that's so cool seeing how things evolve through albums. This one concept. I know Jay-Z had one with Memphis Bleak. Anyway, but yeah. So if y'all could send suggestions for definitives, that one we're gonna be doing one soon about the definitive sketch comedy show. We're gonna be doing a bunch of them, so just send them our way. All right, let's get back into it. You in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.
Hey guys, Miracle here. Thank you so much for watching that episode. Make sure you go below, like it, subscribe, click the bell, and make sure you follow us on all forms of our social media. Also, check out our website and be sure you spread the word. We'll see you next time.
We know not what we doing. Screw that, they know, let them have it, do it. Okay, I'm erratic, prove it. Never mind, got a mind that'll wind up with me in a lineup behind bars with these bars. Okay, my time's
Team Freedom. Yeah. We not through yet. All right. Trackstarz Music presents.
Turn my volume up, turn me off.